decided to take up improv.
It's amazing how many good things
That's
we
the
taste,
news story.
good things we smell, and good things we hear about every day. They just unnoticed. First news.
They're saying the skill set of government workers in improv really overlap.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is on his way to the U.S., where he's to meet tomorrow.
I hope he
President
takes down Trump.
in Florida.
Just take him out,
He stopped off
Zelensky.
in Halifax, where he met with
You're
Canadian
even
Prime
more of an
Minister Mark
American
Carney,
hero.
who announced Canada is providing $2.5 billion Canadian worth of
Just
economic
take Trump
assistance.
hostage
And
and
for
tell
his meeting
Putin
with
if he wants
tomorrow,
Trump back,
Zelensky says
leave your
he's hoping
country.
for a constructive meeting.
Just take Trump hostage. Come on.
Pressure on Russia and sufficient strong support for Ukraine. We will speak about air defense, and last week we had good steps in diplomacy, but we can't live in the illusion that it gives us possibility to have less air defense. With Russia it doesn't work.
Meanwhile,
Don't
Russia
live
hit
under
Ukraine's
any
capital,
illusions.
Kyiv, overnight.
Of course they
Missiles and
did.
Drones targeting power plants and residential areas. At least 2 people died.
You need to
Dozens were
overthrow
injured.
Putin
Zelensky
and
says
Trump
that
and
action shows
Netanyahu.
Russia doesn't want peace.
Yeah, they don't
Thailand
want
and
peace.
Cambodia
They're the ones who
have agreed
invaded.
to a ceasefire that could end 3
We need to
weeks
stop
of
Trump,
fighting
Putin
that
here.
killed
Stop
more than
Trump and
100
Putin and
people.
Netanyahu now.
Michael
Save
Sullivan
all of our
reports from
countries
Chiang
from
Rai,
these evil
Thailand.
tyrants.
The ceasefire signed by the 2 countries' defense ministers says both countries have agreed to halt their artillery attacks and rocket barrages and air attacks by Thai fighter jets on Cambodian targets.
Oh, I thought
The
Trump
2 countries
solved
have
that
been
war.
involved in fierce combat for weeks
I'm
that began
mocking
in
him.
July, then reignited earlier this month.
That were not solved
Hundreds
by
of
Trump.
thousands on both sides have been displaced by the fighting, prompted by an early French colonial map, Cambodia's then ruler, that's been disputed by the Thai side. The 72-hour lull is dependent on both sides honoring the ceasefire. For NPR News, I'm
Good
Michael
luck
Sullivan
having peace.
from Chiang Rai, Thailand.
Peace is the only way
President
for
Trump
everyone
says
to
he'll
win.
take action to bring down high housing costs in 2026. But as NPR's Jennifer Ludden reports,
He won't do
economists
shit.
expect prices
He has a
to
plan
remain
that's going to happen in
out of
2
reach for many.
weeks. Well, yeah.
There are
Nobody
more
can
home
afford
sellers
shit.
than buyers.
4 things that
The
aren't
gap has
hoaxes:
doubled from a year ago,
affordability,
according to a new
Epstein,
analysis
climate
by
change, and
Redfin.
Russia.
That normally brings prices down.
Now, toaster
and the real
poodle,
estate
you
company
Nazi
does expect
pedophile.
some sellers to
Everyone
keep
hates you.
cutting prices or offering concessions. But it notes
All
many
real.
Americans
Yeah,
simply
they're
cannot
not
afford to
hoaxes.
buy a
Epstein
home,
files,
with
climate
prices up
change,
more than
Russia,
50%
and
since
affordability are
2020.
not real.
Redfin also finds the number of both buyers and sellers.
I'm going to go you for another day because nobody ever needs to hear a Nazi. No, I'll just leave you in the chat. Who cares?
So have
No,
foreclosures.
everyone hates you
Economists say
because
a
everyone hates
severe
pedophiles
housing
and Nazis,
shortage
and
is
that's
a
what
key
you're
factor keeping
bragging about
prices
being every
high.
time you come to
But
life.
fixing that would take years. Jennifer Ludden, NPR News, Washington.
On Wall Street yesterday, stocks closed slightly lower on a holiday-shortened trading week. You're listening to NPR News from Washington.
Holiday shortened trading slightly lower. I was trying to
Ground
make every
controllers are
excuse for
continuing
Trump
their
and
efforts to
Putin.
reestablish
Nazi Putin radio.
contacts with the Maven spacecraft that's orbiting Mars. As Joe Pelko reports,
Oh,
NASA
wow.
says it last heard from its probe
They lost
on
contact?
December 6th.
There was no indication Maven was having any technical problems earlier this month
Hello,
when its orbit
Mertz.
took it behind Mars, out of sight from Earth-based antennas. But when it came back into view, no signal came from the probe's radio. Tracking data suggested the spacecraft might be rotating and that its orbit might have changed, but there was no apparent reason why. NASA has tried to use the camera on the rover Curiosity to capture a picture of the orbiter from the Martian surface, but so far, no luck. Future rescue efforts face an orbital problem. Starting December 29th, the sun will be between the Earth and Mars, making communication between the 2 planets impossible for about 3 weeks. For NPR News, I'm Joe Palca.
The head of the Kennedy Center is criticizing a musician who canceled a Christmas Eve jazz concert after
Nope.
President Trump
Fuck
had his
Trump.
name added to the venue.
Exactly.
In a
Fuck
letter to
Trump.
musician Chuck Red,
Chuck
Richard
Red's an
Rennell
American
said
hero.
his action
Richard
was a
Rennell's a
political
traitor,
stunt
and
that
he can
would
fuck
sue
off.
Red for $1 million.
You need to
President
countersue
John
that
F. Kennedy was
motherfucker for
assassinated
being
in
for slander.
1963, and Congress passed a law the next year naming the center after him as a living memorial.
Yeah, everyone
Trump
hates
forced out
Trump.
the previous board, and his new hand-picked group voted in favor of adding Trump's name to the building. I'm
Traitors.
Janine Herbst.
Anybody who
NPR
attacks our
News
country like
in
Trump has done
Washington.
is a traitor. All their stuff should be seized.
Support for NPR
All
comes
their
from NPR stations. Other
company should be
contributors
seized.
include the Wellness
I'm left,
Foundation,
dude.
An independent,
dude, I'm an
nonpartisan
American.
research foundation
I'm a human,
collaborating with
not a Nazi.
grantees and partners.
Don't even
in
come
the
at me
arts,
with that shit.
school
I know you meant it
leadership,
as an
and
honest
youth
question,
development.
but seriously.
More at wallacefoundation.org.
I got Nazis in the chat. I haven't
This
banned the
is
Nazis in the
NPR.
chat. We have Nazis in the chat, so they can be hunted
Support
down by
comes
Nazi
from
hunters.
organizations across the state, including CU Anschutz.
All right, see you
where
guys in a
care
little bit.
providers, researchers, and patients work together to bring their dreams of better health to life. More at cuanschutz.edu.
See, we'll let him
Support
talk about
comes from the
pedophiles
Colorado Sun,
and prove
a
that Nazis are
nonprofit
pedophiles for a
newsroom
while.
bringing statewide
And I'll be back
coverage
later.
to Coloradans, focused on independent, nonpartisan journalism and shining light on Colorado's communities. ColoradoSun.com. This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Tamara Keith. Congress has left the building. Lawmakers are home for the holidays with the memory of the longest ever government shutdown still fresh. This Congress is earning a reputation as the least productive in modern history. And a record number of lawmakers are announcing they plan to retire rather than run for re-election in the upcoming midterms. NPR's Barbara Sprunt has been talking to former members of the House who say all of this is a long time coming, and she joins me now. Hey, Barbara. Hi, Tim. So you talked to a dozen former members from both sides of the aisle. They're now on the outside looking in. So what do they make of the way Congress has changed?
Well, many said that they see Congress these days as abdicating its constitutional authorities to the White House. Here's how Charlie Dent put it. He's a Republican who represented Pennsylvania from 2005 to 2018.
I'm really most concerned about the erosion of its power of the purse authorities, as we've witnessed through tariffs and through unilateral executive decisions to cancel funding and departments and agencies. And I think that's the greatest threat to Congress as an institution that I've seen.
But Dent and others say that even though there's concerns specific to this year under this administration, a lot of the challenges in Congress have been brewing for quite some time. You know, things like rising political violence, a toxic partisan environment, and just feeling like they can't get anything done.
Yeah, and like you said, political violence is sadly not new. I'm thinking about when Congresswoman Gabby Giffords was shot in 2011, and then in 2017, Congressman Steve Scalise was shot at a congressional baseball practice. How much was that a factor for people who you talked to?
Threats of violence were top of mind for nearly every person that I talked to, including some of the people who served in the House during the times that you mentioned. And they said that's when they started to make some adjustments to their own security, you know, adding safe rooms and planning out escape routes from their district offices. Yeah. What stood out to me is that a lot of people said that the threat level, even since then,
So escape routes?
The Capitol Police is working through about 14,000 threats.
14,000
this year alone.
All right.
And Sherry Bustos, the Democrat from Illinois,
They're all from Trump
described
Boutonniers,
how much
right?
Things changed for her when she was first elected in 2012 to then when she left in 2023.
So the first office I opened was in a secure building where you had to have a code to get in. And I viewed it at the time as
Trump's making a
obstacles
bunker
to reach our staff or to reach me.
Trump's making,
And
but now
so
you realize
I
you
made a
need that
decision to
shit
get
because
out
the
of
Trump
that
Boutonniers are
building
terrorists.
Because I wanted to be very accessible with no security. Well, fast forward toward the end of my career in Congress, the staff didn't feel safe. We had to install these little buttons that would go to the local police department in case somebody was there and was threatening.
Wow, that is a big change.
It is. And, you know, the impact is not on members alone. You know, they say that
What
the
did you mean to
threats
say?
took a toll on their families, on their staff, you know, the people who are at these district offices. And they worry whether this could prevent people from running for Congress in the future.
You talked about polarization too, but that also seems to be sort of standard these days.
You know, members said that they thought it was toxic when they first got to Capitol Hill. And then now they're
Well,
questioning,
yeah.
wait, were those actually the good old days?
Those were the good
You know,
old
they
days.
said
Trump
over
Boutonniers
time,
are
it's
making
just
it
gotten
worse.
So much worse.
You let
I
Trump
talked to
go.
California Democrat Anna
He's the
Escher
head of a
about this.
terrorist
She was
network.
elected in 1992 and retired.
It's going to get
this
even
year.
worse.
I got to the point in Congress where I wanted to have a conversation with a Republican colleague that I didn't know at all. When I approached them, I want you to know that I don't view you as my enemy. I mean, isn't that something that I felt like I needed to say that?
But Congress is in many ways a reflection of the country, and the country is really polarized. I remember I used to hear from lawmakers that they got a lot done because they got to know each other on a personal level, playing softball or baseball or
over dinners. Is that still true?
Not as much. It has been decades since the norm was to live in DC with your family. And the work week is short. You know, it's usually 3.5 days for the house, and then people are hopping back on planes.
And people
to
show
fly
up at the
back
baseball
home.
games. Hey, Carissa.
Here's how Fred Upton put it. He's a Republican from Michigan, and he served from 87 to 2023.
You don't have as much time where you can socialize.
Sorry about the
build
Nazis
some
in
of those
chat.
Friendships that are important, particularly when your word is your bond. Trust is important. What are you doing? I mean, how's your family? I mean, you miss that, and proof's in the pudding in terms of what we see today.
So what else is
Proof's in
getting
the
in the way
pudding.
of Congress being a good
Why don't we talk
workplace?
about Trump mutineers and their terror network? Trump mutineers are terrorists. Oh, it's all about the differences in daily life and people not living in Washington D.C. No, you have an invasion by a traitorous Trump mutineer terrorist network.
On very specific issues is written and debated.
And how are things going to be great with that?
Rules and budget processes, there's a lot of trying
Toaster
to
Poodle's
cram
a
through an agenda
fucking
in
pedophile.
one big piece of legislation, which members
Typical
say
Trump
just is
mutineer,
not
pedophile
satisfying.
Nazi.
So a
Except
record
he actually
number
brags
of
about
lawmakers,
it.
over 40 in the House, have said they won't run for re-election, and that number
How many of them
is
are Trump
growing.
mutineers?
Is Congress just not a good gig anymore?
You know, I think it is a combination of all of these things.
Are you
This is a job that requires
participating
you
in
to live from
democracy?
home.
Are you trying to
It comes with a lot
be
of public scrutiny and threats. And if you feel
a
like you
representative
can't get
for
anything
the
done,
people, or are
then
you just
that all
trying to
is a recipe
grift,
for frustration,
trying to gig?
right? But I think the sentiment that
Congress
I heard
isn't
from Patrick
gig
McHenry,
work.
who was once in
National
Republican leadership
Putin
in the
radio,
House, was
Nazi
interesting.
Putin radio.
You're there to improve the institution, to make it work in the environment that you're in. Politics is the art of the possible.
Thanks for
And
calling
each
out Toaster
generation
Poodle,
is different.
Chrissy.
New challenges,
Carissa.
new set of circumstances.
I want to call you
and it's
Chrissy,
evolved with the
Carissa,
changing
or
politics.
Kissy.
And I asked everyone, you know, if someone that you like came to you and said, I want to run for Congress, what would you say? And, you know, there was a lot of be forewarned about these challenges, but no one flat out said, absolutely don't run.
Why
So,
don't we just
you know,
purge the
that's
Trump
gotta count for
mutineers so
something.
it's not dangerous
That's
anymore?
NPR's Barbara Sprunt. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, people who
In
say
most
that are
theater shows,
usually
the
Trump
actors
mutineers.
talk
You're
and
traitors.
The audience listens.
So what are you
But
trying to say?
That's not how it works at pantomimes. The rowdy, family-friendly performances that are
Are you a
popular
Trump
in the
mutineer? Are
UK
you a
this
traitor?
time
Are
of
you
year.
trying to announce that in
There,
this
the people
anti-Trump
watching
live?
are expected
It's not a
to
smart
make
thing to
as
do.
much noise as possible. We sent NPR's Robbie Griffiths to
This
find
is an
out
anti-Trump
what all the
live
fuss
because
is
I
about.
curse Trump mutineers here. Yeah, we're gonna curse him. We're gonna curse Toaster Poodle and any other Trump mutineers in comments. We're cursing Trump and Putin through you. Scary Green
It's clear
Witch.
she isn't happy with the audience. She says they are too quiet, and they should boo her as loudly as they can.
We should boo the Trump mutineers as loudly as we can.
You greet your villain? Yeah, let's try that again, shall we? It'd be better.
The next time, they do what they are told.
Keep it coming, motherfucker.
Keep booing Trump. Keep
Throughout the
booing
2-hour
Trump
play
and
that
Putin and
follows,
Netanyahu
the
till they're
audience are
gone.
expected to join in noisily,
And all their minions.
shouting out classic pantomime lines
We
that
got
most
this.
people who attend already know.
Has anyone seen my bush? It's there.
All across Britain during the festive period, families attend pantomimes, or pantos, which help get them into the Christmas
We need
spirit.
anti-Trump
They are plays,
pantos.
usually based on a well-known story or fairy tale, with a bawdy twist.
Oh, I'm
And
gonna
often,
write one.
Like the witch in this show, they feature female characters, or dames, played by a man in drag.
Oh, we need to do that too. I'm so glad I happen to be live streaming this right now. Watch
Today's show
this.
is inspired by The Wizard of Oz and Wicked.
Oh,
It's a
dude.
storyline imaginative that brings Dorothy back to Oz 20 years after the first time around.
That's
But in many
awesome.
ways, the plot comes second to the silly jokes.
Read the Oz books where she comes back plenty of times. And other people go to Oz too.
not to step in a poodle.
Don't step in a poodle. I'm about to stomp on a poodle in chat. Toaster Poodle, the MAGA Nazi pedophile. About to stomp that poodle into a poodle puddle. Oh, this was a very great live. Look at those piles. Let me see if I can show you for real.
Often add mustard to pantos. This one Jeremy Corbyn, who used to lead Britain's Labour Party
crazy.
and appears on videos The Wizard of Oslington, a pun on Islington, the area of London we are in. Famous for playing Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings films. He was
Whoa.
seen in a video
Gandalf
as
and
Toto the
Oz,
dog.
same stage. Pretty cool.
friends, it's me, Toto. And you may already know I'm the frontman of the distinguished rock and roll band, the Rolling Bones.
This pantomime in North London was actually written by an American, Shay Kono, from California's Bay Area.
I want to write
I
one.
didn't grow up in the UK, and when I moved here, starting to understand pantomime felt like a huge cultural hurdle.
Kono has lived in Britain for 12 years and become an expert in the form.
The actual history of pantomime is it started in East London, and it used to be this huge thing where the whole community would come together, and you'd have art forms of all performance types, from magic to circus to dance. And so it kind of over generations and generations has evolved into the form that it is today.
Kono's pantomime is consciously inclusive towards LGBTQ people. It has two versions, one that's family friendly and one just for adults. Most theatres around Britain have an annual panto in the festive period, and it's often their most popular production of the year.
It's sort of unique that there's a tradition built in, including the audience that come to it, that you become part of their Christmas.
So cool.
Johnny McKnight from Paisley near Glasgow has been performing and writing pantomimes in Scotland for 20 years. He's seen different generations of the same families grow up watching his shows.
Because it's so accessible, a lot of the time it's a child's first entry point. So there's something also magical in that you're creating something accessible that talks to its audience rather than at them.
Here in North London, there are lots of children at the theatre for the first time.
Who's your favourite character?
I think it's Dorothy.
Never mind the terrorist.
Years old.
Yeah, Dorothy's the best.
Dad Alex and sister Emily. What do you like about the pantomime?
That they said very funny jokes and talk to the audience.
All the other children seem to agree. In the second act, children and adults alike all shout as loud as they can.
Oh, yes, there is. Oh, no, there isn't. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, no, there isn't. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, enough of that.
But when it comes to pantomime, people in Britain can't get enough.
Well, I can't wait to get some.
NPR News, North London.
I'll write some pantomime for you, Brits.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News.
I'm so glad I heard that. That was so cool. Sorry about the pedos and Nazis in chat.
Where's the best
But we can
place
hunt them
to
down
keep a
based on their
watch the
comments. So.
skies? Deep inside Cheyenne Mountain on the edge of Springs. For years, home to the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, officially it is the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, now in installation of the U.S. Space Force. In the cavern in 1961, inside for incoming missiles.
America, I bet.
Tracking the as the motto of the command puts it.
Must be weird to see your comments filtered.
A Colorado postcard with support
Never
from Denver
placed.
Zoo Conservation.
Sorry about the bad connection, everybody. Sorry about the bad connection, everybody. I'll go shut it down, I guess, since it's all bad. Oh, but I need to report that guy's Nazi comments. I need to report the
Support
terrorist.
for NPR comes from this station.
Sorry, let
and
me
from
deport for
Luminance
terrorism real quick.
Foundation. Luminance
Maybe we can
Foundation
get
is
that-
dedicated to
that
shedding
account
light
banned.
on neurological research focused on Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases and supporting land conservation initiatives. And from Melville Charitable Trust, committed to ensuring all people have a safe, stable, and affordable home that allows them to thrive. Information about ways to prevent and solve homelessness is at melvilletrust.org. This is NPR.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Tamara Keith. Chances are, before you heard the first story on today's show, you heard an NPR newscast.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Winter Johnston.
I'm Bill Snyder.
I'm Janine Herbst.
I'm Dave Mattingly.
I'm Lakshmi.
Okay, sorry, I just had to report Nazi a little bit.
Newscasts are the 5-minute news summaries that you
Yeah,
always
watch
hear
it get
at
free
the top
YouTube Premium,
every
Greg,
hour,
because they're
24
Nazis.
hours a day,
Because YouTube's
7
a
days
Nazi.
week,
It's funny how you guys
365
prove
days a
things
year,
sometimes
always
true.
here.
If you don't
So check out my
already
recent
recognize her
content.
voice, that's Corva Coleman, one of NPR's newscasters.
But yeah, we'll hunt you all down. Don't worry,
Newscasts
Brightleaf. We'll
are
get you
one of
hunted down.
NPR's most popular
Fucking Nazi piece of shit. And in the
Millions
meantime,
of
I'm cursing
listeners
you.
tune in
I'm
each
cursing
week.
all
I can
Trump
also tell you
Putineers, and
that
I'm cursing
NPR
Trump and
newscasts
Putin and
are the
Netanyahu through you.
#1 podcast
Thanks,
listened
Carissa.
to in
See
the
you soon.
United States, according to PodTrack. Number 2 is The Daily, and we leave them in the dust.
Oh my
And
gosh,
number 3,
The Daily's
I should
terrible.
add in fairness, is
And make up a bar
NPR's Up First.
from The Daily.
We leave them in
It's
the
the
dust
worst.
too. But they're
Fascist
nice
crap.
people at NPR's Up First.
No, they're fascists.
Corva starts her day really early.
Nazi
I get
Putin
up at 5
radio.
minutes of midnight.
Not everybody who
And
works
that's
for him
not
fascist,
just
but
to read in
the
on the
company went
news.
fascist, trying to kowtow to Krasnov, trying to suck up to
There is also the
Putin,
fact
Trump,
that
Donica
Corbett is on
Putinsky.
camera too for visual newscasts.
Carl Castle, one
Face
of my
made for
most
radio.
beloved predecessors, had an old saying, and he used to say he got up at 1:05 a.m. every morning. And people would say, that's an odd time to get up. 1:05? But Tam, Carl never had to match earrings to his jacket. Was he camera ready? No, he did not have to do that.
Yeah, Putin's a Nazi.
Carl,
Why is
I
this
know you're
news to
having a
you?
wonderful
Putin,
time
Trump,
in
and
the
Netanyahu
afterlife,
are
but
Nazis.
you
Watch my
never
recent
had to find
content.
stockings in the middle of
Or watch
the night.
any of my content.
One of the things listeners probably don't think about is how often radio journalists see words for